And I don't know how I found the senior center, but right off I did find the senior center, and this has been a saving grace for me.
You said you had a job here, is that right?
Oh, well, I come every Tuesday and Thursday morning and do their deposits, take them to the bank. Lots of times, well, not a lot of times, but sometimes I do Meals on Wheels.
Do you have experience in financial stuff?
I worked in a bank, and took in lots of deposits, so I couldn't see any reason why I couldn't help them out. Well, some of the other day I was in here and one of the ladies wanted to know if I'd call bingo because their regular caller didn't come. So I said I can do it from 10 to 11, but they all said that was fine, it was better than not at all. So, you know, it was fun to do it, and then they appreciated it because their husbands play cards on Tuesday. So it makes you feel good to help people like that.
I can meet people my age and share, you know, family issues, and there's a great many people here who I have a lot in common with, and it's a good place to come and be missed if I'm not here, you know. And they have wonderful programs during the week, and then of course they have the great lunch every day. It's very much a neighborhood. I mean, everybody has their own families and their own lives, but the interchange is always very pleasant.
Thompson Senior Center is an enormous help in getting to see people of all ages and stages and all degrees of being dignified.
And it's across from the busy Max Market, where you go in there and you meet anybody and everybody you know, and then you come down here to the Senior Center, which is very welcoming and enjoyable.
So I volunteer. I'm here Thursday mornings at the desk, and other times I'm around. It's a great thing. It makes life a lot better. I live in Millerswood, the subsidized housing unit here in Woodstock, which is a nice place with nice neighbors.
Since I live right next door to the health center, I think that must be sort of an assurance that if I'm going to be sick, that's the place to live.
Yeah, you're right nearby.
Right.
This is a darn good place to be if you're going to have health problems. Mary Hitchcock is extremely sophisticated in virtually everything it does, and it's great to have it nearby. And if I need to see a doctor there, the doctor here sends me, who works for Scott, and he sends me over there, and I see these really great doctors. The guy that worked on my legs and put the stents in is considered by a number of people in that field the best guy in the whole country, okay? My eye surgeon, one of the best in the country, okay? And this is because Mary Hitchcock is there.
I think this is probably a very posh place to age. And I mean, you're not having to deal with public transportation, you're not being jostled around on the bus or streetcar, and you're always safe wherever you go. And so it's really ideal. I don't know what it would be like, what it's like in some of the homes, you know, homes for the aged. I hope I don't have to go there.
Mm-hmm. So it sounds like the Thompson Senior Center is a big part of your life?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
In the last 5 or 6 years or so, I've had at least 3 operations.
Oh, wow.
And so I have sort of been in touch with the medical field.
Right.
They're not prepared for the old age of people. They're not prepared for the seniors.
The only thing I had, there is a story when I went both times for my vertigo to the emergency room. I just wish that they would tell you that you can go to physical therapy and get the Epley maneuver to straighten this out. They give you Valium and send you home. And all you do is lay in bed for the rest of the week with the Valium.
They saw my age, 88, typical operation, in bad shape, needs 3 pints of blood, it's time for him to go. Well, I didn't, you know. They didn't, I think the basic problem is they don't take their patient's whole story. The guy that did this, he didn't take the whole, he didn't know the rest of me.
Several years ago, I went to a hospital, and it was an in and out one day. And after I came to, so to speak, from the general anesthesia, they offered me solid food. And I was absolutely astounded. Because when I was in training in 1950s, they didn't do that. And I thought, wow, if they improved, their anesthesia so that it doesn't make you ill, no.
In that moment when she offered you that, and having had your background in training, did you feel empowered to say something and
Yes,
to ask?
I did. I asked her a question specifically. I was awake enough, and I asked her specifically, are you sure that this is okay? Because, this is not what I had been used to and learned. And of course, a lot of times technologies change, and so you think, okay, they've learned something, and things can be backed off from regulated systems.
Right.
So,
But it turns out stomachs haven't changed.
no, that's right, definitely. And so, I really did, I think I complained.
There is something you can do for it, I finally found out. The doctor, the last time, he finally told me, you could go to therapy and they have a Epley maneuver. And so I made an appointment with therapy, and I walked in there feeling dizzy and sick. Came out of there feeling wonderful.
I met a doctor the other day that was great. Not important what his name is, I don't even know if I can remember it, but he looks at a person and he takes the whole patient, everything.
I have a private physician, and I don't have to go through the, shall we call the scheduling and the this and the that. And I also have someone who I've known for a good many years. And I know that this person knows who I am, other than my physical conditions.
As I say, I retired, so I was thinking about getting older. My husband's a bit older, and I thought, what do we do now?
I worried when I first quit work because we were going to have to take out insurance. We have to take out the supplemental and what they take out for Medicare and what we got for Social Security. And I thought, how am I ever going to pay this up? We're going to be living in poverty. But somehow it's worked out.
Well, for me, it has changed a lot just in the last 4 years. I don't know if this is the time to say how my vision, I developed a very serious vision problem 4 years ago, which happened very, very quickly. And it took a year to find out what the problem was. And so now I have no central vision, I have peripheral vision, but I can't drive, I haven't been able to drive, so my life has really changed in the last 4 years.
My legs don't work quite the way they used to because of various things that are going on, and I don't know whether you'll ask about that or not. But so, instead of going in, taking, a shower and then getting into your clothes in 15 minutes, like you used to, it takes you almost half an hour.
Right.
And that's hard to adjust to because life goes on. You still have appointments,
Right.
but you're slowing down and they're just staying the same level.
The circulation problems mean that I can't walk very far without my legs getting fairly painful to use, so I'll have to stop and take a break. And this is an aggravation. I can't go for walks in the woods and all these other things. I used to be very active outdoors, did a lot of canoeing and camping and all that sort of stuff, and I can't do any of that, which is frustrating.
Just things we take for granted, like being in a ladies' room, public restroom, you know, some the water's automatic, some it's not. Where's the soap? How do you work the paper towels?
Like I used to spend, as I said, a lot of time out camping and hiking and out in the woods and so on. I don't do any of that anymore. So any of the friends that I used to have that involved that, I don't have anymore.
I needed people still. I needed us. I love my home and I'm homebodied and I make pickles, I have blueberry bushes and that, but I needed contact.
We have a lot of opportunities. We have the senior center. This is a great place to go for anything.
That enabled me to feel more complete because I was just being home. I said, this is not the answer. I mean, I'm sort of old-fashioned.
I think the elderly are overlooked in bigger communities. You don't have the support like you have in a smaller place like this. You don't have community support, a lot of them don't have families. And so a lot of the elderly are just left behind. Plus they don't have the finances to really be able to live.
I mean, my community is my apartment building where there's lots of residents, and it's across from the busy Max Market, where you go in there and you meet anybody and everybody you know, and then you come down here to the senior center, which is very welcoming and enjoyable.
I think the senior center is just such a fabulous thing, and I think more people need to be aware of it. And as I said, I haven't had to take advantage of the transportation, but I think the medical rides that they provide and the Meals on Wheels, and it's all, that's the kind of thing, because we are so isolated from places, and public transportation.
Right.
That's one thing that I miss, because with city living, you always have public transportation, but there is no such thing here. So you rely on your neighbors or your friends or whomever.
My interests have changed in terms of what I do in my spare time. And not having a car means I'm quite limited in what and where I can do anything.
I pray a lot. I meditate a lot. Matter of fact, I'm in a prayer group in the evening, and so I have those people.
So I'm active in social justice work. I'm active in on the music committee at the church, which is a major program of that church. So church is kind of a big social, that's where I have other people who think that this is pretty much the same way that I do, that I enjoy the company. Yeah.
I can go back on impressions in my mind of people who I've met at church who will be totally delightful and welcoming and encouraging at 1 minute, but they'll never tell you about themselves and all that they have had to go through. I mean, they're always there to help you, but hardly ever asking for help themselves.
I think that as you go along, there are some things that make life difficult, not only your own physical disabilities perhaps, but emotionally and psychologically. And so that is a very hard adjustment to make.
Like I said, I grew up with a lot of negativity in it, and some of that just comes back. But I try to let go of that, and I write things down a lot too. I don't do this anymore, and I want this, and and then I don't read it again. I just write as if somebody's listening.
As long as I can be happy and enjoy humor and relate to people and be of some use to someone, I like to keep on doing what I'm doing.
It doesn't mean that you just stop breathing and you sit still in the chair. You can do things. You don't have to grow old. You may be getting older, but you don't have to grow old on finding out.